Do you have any predictions going to the series between HwangSin and
Of course I do. HwangSin's going to take it. Why are you even asking me?
All right. Well, he's not allowed to bet against them otherwise, but
I know.
I'll take HayprO. You know, HayprO, it's not his best matchup by any means. In fact, if you look at TLPD, it's very, very saddening. It's 35% win rate. And he actually has played HwangSin in the past. He lost to him 1-2. And HayprO's on a 6-game losing streak against Protoss, against Sasa, JYP, and Classic Prime back from IPL4. But despite all this, I believe in the Banjo. You know why? Because even though Naniwa doesn't have the greatest PVZ, I saw a great series played at MLG. I had the opportunity to cast that for the gameplay streams. And HayprO, he can take out Protosses, and he's also one of these players that if you underestimate him, he will defeat you. He will actually crush you.
HayprO's forte is in ZVT, I want to say.
Yeah,
that's where he really shines bright. But ZVP, I don't know. Something's just not clicking with him in general. Now, some days he has amazing games in ZVP, and it's just like, HayprO, this is the guy I knew from StarCraft 1. This is, well, I shouldn't say that because he's still really successful. But in StarCraft 1, he was just, everything clicked. I remember playing against him, and I was just so scared of...
I heard he was scary good.
He was, man. His Zerg was amazing. I remember trying to practice with him, and I was just like, you are way too good for me. But his EVP, I don't know what it is, but it's not as strong as his ZVZ and ZVT.
I mean, I'm pretty sure a lot of Zergs can chalk it up to a certain win rate chart that's been released in the past few days. But regardless of what you guys think about the metagame, whether or not Zerg or Protoss are favored, we are on Belshir Beach. And that plays a lot into balance. I want to emphasize that a lot of balance has to do with the current maps and how they played out. I mean, back in the days when we had Scrap Station for PvZ and Blink Stalker, 2-base Blink Stalker.
Could you even imagine doing Stefano style on Scrap Station?
That would be absurd, especially roaches coming down the middle.
Yeah, it's like, well.
No, especially against like MC's like 14th century immortals.
Dude, like
never being able to break him.
You'd be destroyed. I don't know how I ever lost on Scrap Station now that I think of it.
It's very interesting too because IPL is doing a tournament like that, the Ye Olde map tournament where they play on really old school maps like Desert Oasis and Kulas Ravine. So if you have the opportunity, guys, you can check it out. But for now, just still watch this. We see HwangSin is walling off very, very nicely. He's leaving a little opening, which I actually like. I don't like when Protosses try to wall off completely on Belshir Beach, although I can understand because the ramp is really wide. But generally speaking, I like the opening that HwangSin did because he read HayprO was going no gas and decided to go for Nexus first.
Yeah, this is a very clear progression in the PvZ style. We see this time and time again. Now the big thing is, how will HayprO choose to actually scout out his opponent and see what direction he's going? There's a lot of different styles that you can do when you're doing 2-base PvZ. Probably the most common is just Mass Warp Gate, but you can also go into Robotics, you can go into Stargate, and Twilight Council as well. Twilight Council obviously gives you the blink, charge, and enables you to make the Dark Shrine. The ever so powerful Dark Templars that can be pretty effective. We saw Dark Templars do really well against Idra. Actually, they did terrible. Blink Stalkers did really well against Idra.
Blink Stalker follow from Alicia, that was the killer. Now, to clarify, HwangSin, he's pretty notorious 2-baser in PvZ. We saw him go up against Zenio in week 2. HwangSin had that week 1 off. In week 2, HwangSin tried to go for a lot of Warp Prism 7-gate with Immortals, and Zenio just shut it down completely. He was able to really defend his third with a lot of drones left over, and from there was able to ride his momentum victory. Did you have any insight into maybe how HwangSin was preparing for this? Because he's opening very similar to what he did back when we saw him play Zenio.
I know he's just preparing on the Korean ladder. I don't think he's actually preparing specifically for his opponent. But we can already see a very interesting first move coming out from HwangSin. Robotic Facility is being put down. So he is going for, well, there's a lot of things that he can be going for, but it is a delayed +1. You can see the +1 weapons is not upgraded just yet. A lot of the gas is really funneled into getting his sentries out ASAP, and not only that, getting the Robotic Facility. Now, you can do Colossus timings. You can also do really fast Warp Prism pushes along with Immortal pushes. Those 3 things are actually very different to stop from the Zerg. I mean, they have to prepare for all of those very differently. One, you know, you need roaches and different upgrades, Tunneling Claw, Burrow, really, really fast. The other one, you just need map coverage. The other one, you need Colossus out. Corruptor's out in the field to deal with the very fast Colossus. So we'll see, can HayprO identify what's going on, or will he fall victim to the PVZ metagame?
HwangSin, he has +1 starting extremely late. Normally we see within the 5 to 6 minute mark, +1 already would be starting. Now HwangSin, normally when we saw him do this build originally back in week 2, he followed with 3 more gateways, got Immortals out, and eventually after his Warp Prism Harass transitioned to a great 2-base push. He is in the middle of building a Twilight Council though, and he also has his Warp Prism across the right side of the map, so he's going to try to tech up and keep Zerg at bay by harassing, as right now would be the time where Zerg is starting to explode in economy. You can tell HayprO really getting anything he wants. Only a few roaches in production though.
Yep. These 3 Zealots are actually to bait all of the units over here on the side. In the meantime, the sentries are doing nothing. Actually missed the force field, and he was not able to enclose the Queen nor drones into that position. Another 2 force fields to 3 force fields get placed. It looks like the Roach will be cleared up, but what can HwangSin do from here? I'm not sure exactly. Dark Shrine is actually underway, and Immortals are popping out.
Okay. Well, I mean, if HayprO is not careful, Warp Prisms and DTs can do pretty funny things, especially shutting down tech options. Now, the big thing is that HwangSin's being able to keep these 4 sentries alive. And not only do these sentries represent, you know, gas, obviously, but they represent time, because you invest a lot into those early sentries so that you limit all your other options as Protoss. So keeping those sentries alive is very significant for HwangSin. He did some minor harass, and in the end, he's able to really tech before HayprO was able to put out anything aggressive.
Obviously, he could have done a lot more damage if he trapped in those drones.
Yeah, or the Queen.
But unfortunately, I think everything is a wash, really, Frodan, with the 3 or 4 Zealots that he lost over here on the left-hand side. That's a good 300 and 400 minerals. And then with all the mining time that he eliminated from HayprO, obviously that was damage in and of itself. So, that being said.
Yeah, the Warp Prism almost lost some of those sentries because he was trying to eliminate the Zergling at the Watchtower. HayprO's still in unit producing mode. He's got 65 drones, a pretty healthy count. Could squeeze in a little bit more if he wanted to, but in the end, oh, there it is. He's squeezing a few more drones. And we see HwangSin is getting +2 and Blink, as well as a few more gateways. Now, this is a follow-up we saw similar to the couple weeks ago, but again, he's throwing in Dark Templars somewhere in there, and he sees that there's no real detection at the 3rd, so he's going to try to see if he can poke in as well as separate. This is very good play here from HwangSin. If he uses his Dark Templar.
Just chilling, man.
I want to be one of the roaches.
Yeah. Kind of funny there. But he will split out all the Dark Templars. Are there any Overseers on the way? No, there aren't. Oh. And yeah, my God. 5.
Oh, wow. He really wants to see things. As you see, the Dark Templar still not really focusing too much. It's leaving a lot of Queens in critical health. And if he could shut down the Queen, shut down a lot of production capability. Not just, of course, in the media, but the follow-up of Larva. So you can see that now he's starting to focus some of them. And HayprO trying to save it. And the Queen's going down. Very significant snipe indeed for HwangSin.
Yeah, both Queens go down. That's a lot more significant. So you can see one Queen out in the field. That's going to affect the larva of HayprO quite drastically. And I actually think that HwangSin has a pretty... Nope. Well, maybe he does. He has enough sentries. I think he actually has a timing here. He has a time taking advantage of his opponent, because Sentry Immortal, that's a really good combination when you're against a Zergling Roach. I mean, that can definitely take everything out. All you need to do is add in a couple of Zealots and Stalkers, which are probably the cheaper options of the Protoss arsenal. And from there, just continue on the pressure. For Immortals, you don't want them to lose traction. It's very easy for that to happen with Infestors or Spire Tech out in the field.
The only thing is, though, HwangSin opted to take a 3rd base instead, so he used a lot of his minerals to set up that. Of course, he could have way more Stalkers and be pushing by now. Blink and +2 did finish, but HwangSin setting up for a 3 base, which is really cool. I guess he felt like he did enough damage and harass to slow down Zerg. And, of course, HwangSin is still behind in supply, but HayprO would be much farther ahead normally. It's 13.5 minutes a game. Normally, Zergs would be maxed by now.
Yeah, and you can see the harass by HwangSin is just doing so much here. Not only that, it looks like, let's see the upgrades really quickly. I think this is +3. Yes, it is. +3 attack being researched for HwangSin. Roaches have 0 0 upgrades, and the Zerglings have 1. And here we go, the big engagement. This is not going to bode well for the Zerg player over here.
Well, okay, let's see.
Oh, wow.
HwangSin lets a lot of Zerglings and Roaches past the force field wall. Now he has 6 Immortals. 6 Immortals are incredibly good, especially with +2, 60 damage a pop. As you can see, these Immortals are really starting to kick in. HwangSin loses several sentries, though. That was a pretty significant loss. But we do see the Warp Prism still dropping and doing some minor harass on the bottom center expansion. And in the end, I guess they traded some damage, but HwangSin got a lot of drone kills through that drop.
Don't forget, I mean, these 4 sentries still have a ton of energy in them, and they can easily be transformed into this, not transformed, but transferred into this big army. And all of a sudden, this combination is super strong against what HayprO has.
Yeah.
HayprO really doesn't have the infestor count to deal with this, and we're going to see a very one-sided battle in a little bit. Great warp in over here. HwangSin looks to be taking game number 1 with this immaculate push.
And we see the Infestors are now out to the field. They do get Fungal on the Immortals and trying to weaken them. Now, keep in mind, some of these Immortals are weak from the previous push, so if HayprO is able to really get any units, but he has none here at the Natural, you can see that the Overlords are very vulnerable as well. Another warp-in of HwangSin should be able to seal the deal in the 3rd base. As you can see, HayprO not even really trying to run with his drones whatsoever, just trying to milk whatever resources he can get left. GG. Nothing left from HayprO as we see game number 1 goes to HwangSin.
Very straightforward game, I want to say. Really well played, but the Dark Templars, I think, really sealed the deal. I think the Sentry Harass was good. It wasn't great. It was just good. I think a lot more damage could have been done with those sentries. Obviously, boxing in the Queen and the drones would have done severe damage and really stagger the production of HayprO. But unfortunately, of course, that didn't happen. Still, the Dark Templars did enough damage. Was able to stop HayprO from macroing up like a storm, macroing up a storm. He lacked upgrades, and when HwangSin had that engagement, it was just like, yeah, you have a great surround, but I have Immortals, 6 of them.
6 Immortals. It's starting to look like he's playing Great Dwarf style. Where we go like 20 Immortals and 20 Void Rays.
Well, the way I see it is, in PvZ, there's no reason to go Colossus if your opponent isn't going something like Infestors or Hydras. There's just no reason. It's silly because you can have a 200 army, I can have a 140 army, and I will just plow over you if I have 6 Immortals.
Thank you so much to the sponsor of that game, Kingston HyperX, again, for providing memory and SSD for NASL Season 3. Don't go anywhere. We'll find out if HayprO is able to tie up the series or HwangSin finish a 2-0 sweep. We'll be back after the quick messages. Don't go anywhere. Division 1 will continue in just a second.